In today's gospel, we heard about the end of the world when humans will be separated into two groups. The good, which have followed Christ's teaching by helping others and choosing to do the right thing even when it's hard. They will sit on the right side of Jesus and will enter paradise. On the other hand, we have sinners who spend their lives thinking of themselves first, helping others only when convenient and giving into sin. They will be spending their eternity in a very warm place, and I'm not talking about southern Florida. Jesus uses sheep and goats to represent these people. When I think of sheep, I think of a passive animal that is a follower. A shepherd leads them out into a pasture where they graze and leads them back home. They return willingly and don't cause many problems while they're out of their pen. Jesus is often called a shepherd throughout the Bible, so it makes sense that the sheep represent the group that follows his teaching. The goat, on the other hand, is a different type of animal. They are aggressive, they bite, and they run away. My dad grew up with animals, grew up with goats, and always hated when the goats ran away. They were tough. Some of you may have seen videos of cute baby goats tramping and prancing around. The goats' personalities don't start out the way they end up. In fact, young goats pass out when scared or confronted, avoiding difficult or uncomfortable situations. However, goats also give throughout their lives. They give milk and cheese. So they do help others too. This leads me to believe that it's not so black or white. We aren't either all good or all bad. Throughout our lives, we act as both sheep and goats. Thinking about the parable here, the goats will spend their eternity in hell, but they started out their lives as kind and happy creatures. They weren't always hostile. They grew and they sinned, just as we all do, and became selfish. And slowly they turned into sinners. I think everyone is a goat at times. When we exit the highway, there are people asking for money on a corner. We often want to look away and become interested in something else. Basically anything other than them. Just as the goats do when they pass out. We avoid an uncomfortable situation. We also get angry and bothered that they are there in the first place. We don't think about them as one of God's children. We don't wonder what happened to them that resulted in them doing this. We just think that they are lazy and want to take the easy way to provide for themselves. We tend to think of ourselves in this situation first, and how this simple act of standing with a sign requesting money bothers us or makes us uncomfortable. We blame them, but it's really us. We may put money in the church basket every week, but refuse to give money to someone at a corner. Just as a goat, we want to avoid the uncomfortable situation. I know I have been a goat sometimes in my life, choosing to do wrong things or not doing anything at all. A story about where I was once ago was around 3 months ago. This takes place during football season. We were up against St. Charles Junior Varsity team. During the whole week leading up to the game, everyone was nervous and thought that we were going to lose. Everyone thought they were going to be big and scary and mean. But by the time we got there, they looked small and easy to beat. So we entered the game with confidence. And by the fourth quarter, we were winning 21-0. An easy shutout, everyone thought. So since we had beaten them so badly, our coach decided to put in the less experienced players. So the coach put in my friend, who will be unnamed, and he was new to football, but he was pretty cocky, so sometimes it was annoying. So St. Charles kept running and throwing to his side. They kept gaining more and more yards on us until they were on the 10-yard line. And they threw a pass that would have been easily blocked if a more experienced corner was playing. But the football flew right over him, and they caught it for a touchdown, ruining any chances we had for a shutout. After the game, some people were berating him. As a cornerback myself, I can say that the play was hard to guard against for a beginner. But alas, I held my tongue. I didn't think I should get involved or say anything, since everyone else would just disagree with me. So I let him get made fun of by the other people, and I still feel bad for doing so. If I would have said something, maybe they wouldn't have been so cruel to him. A story where I was once a sheep happened about a month ago. My friends and I were playing games together, and one of my friends was just a recap, one of my friends was diagnosed with Crohn's disease about a year and a half ago. Since then, he's had to miss a lot of school and missed almost half of a year for treatments and recovery. But all throughout this time, he loved to play Xbox. This was essentially his only way to communicate and bond with all of his friends. He sometimes came to school, but only for short amount of time before he started feeling sick and had to go back home. But eventually he came back fully around late February of this year. And so we were all playing together, and then one of my friends started saying insults and being mean to him. Usually he was a good sport and just laughed it off with everyone else, but today he was saddened by it. I felt bad for him because I can relate to being the butt of a joke and how bad it feels. But I kept my mouth shut until he started mentioning his Crohn's disease. I knew this was a super sensitive topic for him, so I told them to stop being jerks. They stopped, and that was the end of it. Sometimes all it takes is just a few words to help someone out, and be the sheep. Jesus gives us the tools and the teachers to become followers of his word. Accepting Jesus' help while helping others is a surefire way to eternal paradise. But rejecting Jesus' help and being the goat is a way to condemn yourself from paradise. Saying or doing nothing when someone else is suffering is just as worse as inflicting the suffering, especially when you can do something about it. So I tell all of you, speak up when there are wrongdoings and problems inflicting others. Repent and ask for forgiveness and help out people in their time of need. And truly, you will be rewarded for doing so. Thank you.